Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fusion's Ramblings. So, in this series, we spend 10 to 15 minutes just rambling on about whatever topics come to mind. And today's topic is superpowers. Hey, as kids, I'm sure all of us have, dreamed, imagined that we had some sort of a superpower. Why not, right? I mean, of course, whether you read in comic book stories, watch movies, TV shows, a common theme is that someone gets superpowers somehow. Maybe they were born with it because they're an alien or came from somewhere else. Maybe they, got struck by a meteorite and therefore ended up with a superpower. I mean, there's tons of ways, right, that you can get superpowers, including man-made chemicals and nuclear explosions and whatever. So, the question really comes to me is if you could have a superpower, what superpower would it be? I mean, there's a lot of them out there, and let's just say that you could only have one. Right. So, maybe you can shoot lasers from your eyes or fingers or whatever. Maybe you can read minds. Maybe you can teleport. Maybe you can fly. Maybe you can throw fireballs or ice balls. Or maybe you can turn yourself into a rock or, who knows, right? Invisibility, speed. Strength, what I mean, there's tons that we could just name off as superpowers. So which one would you like, or which one would you want? Um, I guess it comes down to, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to be a hero, or someone who helps people, saves people, rescues people, a do-gooder, right? Because there are, we could go to the bad side too, the dark side. But so that's the question is what do you want to do with that superpower? And I guess that's really what's going to determine if you had a choice, what superpower would you choose? Um, Ideally, of course, we'd hope that you'd want, to be a do-gooder, not a do-batter. And so if you want to help people, you might consider something that allows you to do that. Maybe it's the power to heal. Maybe it's the power to, put out fires. Maybe it is a power to, help people stay calm. Maybe it's a power to grow plants, create food. We could keep naming. I'm kind of staying away from things like throw fireballs and having laser eyes and stuff like that, because let's be honest, in the real world, not the movie world or the comic book world, um, the ability to be to shoot lasers out of your eyes, there's not much use for that. There really isn't, right? I mean, sure, we have bad guys in today's world, but it's not like, we have these monsters and bad guys that you see on TV that have all these powers and stuff like that that we have to fight. Instead, it's more of, okay, natural disasters, wars, disease, common crime, thievery, and there's some worse crimes, obviously. Um, so, shooting lasers out of your eyes really doesn't help any of that. Let's be honest. Flying might be good because, yeah, you could get to places really fast, help people, or maybe you just want to be able to travel without, using the airlines. Of course, then there's the question of if you flew from one country to the next, like Superman or Wonder Woman or something like that. What about customs? How does that get handled, right? Because I'm sure that even though you can fly and everything, um, you're still in that country illegally unless you have a passport or a visa or you go through customs. So that's a question, right? We never hear about that in any of our comic books or superhero movies or things as far as the real life facts that sure, you got a superpower, but does that mean you can just go anywhere you want? You still have to obey the laws. Uh, then there's the question of, let's say you have super strength or some of these other powers, and you're in the process of rescuing people. The common theme, of course, in movies and TV and all of that is that superheroes cause a lot of carnage. They create a lot of damage. Maybe it's no fault of their own because they're fighting a bad guy or whatever. But in the end, they end up destroying buildings and houses and cars and property. So that's another thing you got to think about is is your superpower something that's going to get you into trouble? Because I can guarantee you that no matter what your superpower is, and no matter how many people you rescue, or save, let's say save from a building because it's on fire, and in the process you end up destroying the entire building. Um, when probably the fire department could have put the fire out. I don't know how it would happen, but we see it in the movies all the time, right? So the question is the owner of that building, or even the city potentially, they're going to come knocking and say, hey, um, you destroyed our building. Because, I mean, while they may have fire insurance, and that insurance would have covered the destruction of the building from a fire standpoint, if the building collapses from another reason because of you, not because of the fire, well, insurance is probably not going to cover that. I don't think they have a superhero accidental damage clause. Now, maybe they would if superheroes were a thing. There would be insurance companies that would capitalize on that, just like everything else. But then, of course, it's like you know, who gets superhero insurance coverage? Who's going to make that decision of, oh, we should get superhero insurance just in case our property is destroyed by a superhero. Yeah, food for thought, right? As far as a power, if I had the choice, and maybe this is a little bit selfish, but I'd want the ability to teleport. Honestly, to teleport anywhere. Um, I don't know if there would be rules associated with that. I know in some comics and movies, of course, the individual, they have to have seen the place or been there in order to teleport to that location, and I'd be okay with that as well if I had to have some sort of a visual to be able to go there. Um, that would be fine. My question, or I guess concern about that, though, is let's say that you have this spot that you're going to teleport to. You know where it is, you know what it looks like, um, and everything. What happens if the spot you're teleporting to, something has changed since you last saw it, or since the video that you're looking at, or the picture that you're looking at was taken? For example, someone put a wall there. So do you teleport into the wall? Or what if a person is standing there? Do you teleport inside the person? And then, of course, I don't want to think about what would happen after that. Um, I think there's some questions along with that, but I mean, I would prefer to have that type of power to teleport, simply because then I can just go places. And I know I just talked about, well, you still have to have a visa and all of that if you're going to travel to different countries. If you want to be legal, anyways. If you don't care about that, then I guess as long as you don't get caught, right? um, But I think that would be the best because then, if I want, right now I live in Asia, for example, so if I wanted to go visit family at home in the US, I could just teleport there and say hi and, go for dinner and then come back, right? And then if I wanted to, take a vacation, I could just teleport there. I guess if I want to be legal, I'll teleport to the airport and go through customs. Of course, then what flight were you on? Flight Fusion 09A, Magic Teleport. I'm sure in no time at all, if superpowers existed, that governments would pass all kinds of laws uh, to govern that, whether they would be good laws or bad laws. From a superhero standpoint, I'm not sure, but I'm positive that um, that would happen. um, if I couldn't have teleport, and I had to choose some other power, or I guess, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is too much like teleport, but time travel would be pretty cool. Um, and of course, that opens up a whole nother can of worms as well. Is in that how does the universe really work? If I go back in time because I want to witness an event, or I want to go see the pyramids in Egyptian empire at the height of its glory, or whatever you call, so that I could see it as it was meant to be when it was finally finished. Um, and so I go there, I observe, I take a look. Uh, every action has a reaction according to science and theory. So if I eat an apple because I'm hungry, well, I guess let's not use an apple, let's use a fig. We're in Egypt. Let's say I eat a fig, right, or eat some figs, because usually you're going to eat more than one. Um, what impact does that have? Maybe that fig was in history, that fig was purchased by someone else and they ate it, and now I ate it. What kind of impact does that have? Maybe it has no impact at all because it's just not important enough, and so it's not going to make a difference. But maybe it does. Maybe as a result, um, someone starves to death. I know that's dramatic, but I mean, let's just think about it for a moment. Now, there's a death that happens. Now, of course, everybody is going to die anyways, because you're back in time and you know for a fact that they all died. But they've died earlier than when they should have. So, what impact does that have on history? Maybe, that person was supposed to have a son or daughter. And through history, that son or daughter is someone who, influences history and makes a difference. Who knows? It might even be your great, 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 great forever grandfather or something. And you don't know it because there's really no way you can track back that far in time. Um, and now you're never born. So does that mean you just disappear from existence? What's the impact? Of course, there's the other side of that story of the impact could be that there's like a multi-universe, and so now you have an alternate timeline that is different. And then, of course, in that case, and I know I'm getting really scientific here and maybe off topic, but hey, that's why we ramble. But in that case, if you go back to the future to where you came from, is the timeline that you are going back to where you actually came from? Or are you going to go back and find that things are completely different because you're in a different timeline? Wow, how'd that get so complicated? Maybe I don't want that power. But uh, if it's not teleport or time travel or something like that, um, then I would have to say that a good superpower would be probably something to do with I don't know, something healing or um, the ability that you don't age. That would actually be a good one. I mean, I don't want to say immortality is a superpower, but maybe it is. But a lot of people, of course, they think about it and they go, "Man, I wouldn't want to live forever," because they're thinking about the world we live in today and what it's like. But personally, I would like to have, an extended life just to see all of the different things that happen, um, in history, right? I once saw or read this Reddit, or there is a Reddit chain or site or whatever you call it, somewhere out there where, there was a question that said, okay, you can live forever, but you have to go back in time and start your life or whatever 3,000 years ago. It was like, okay, sure. But then again, all those questions come up of, well, what if you change the timeline? What if you know, do things that to make it to where you're never born? What's going to happen then, right? Yeah, superpowers from that nature are complicated, but I mean, even if you had super strength, that could cause issues too. We already talked about the damage issue. Even if it is accidental, what about if you through your strength you accidentally hurt someone? Now how are you going to feel? Guilty conscience aside, and of course, not meaning it, you could really cause injury. So superpowers, I guess, are, I don't know, maybe it's good that we don't have them because I'm not sure that, enough of us could be responsible enough to do the right thing with them. Not that we would all be evil and cause the destruction of the world or the universe and all of that stuff. I don't think that's going to be the issue or concern, but more from a standpoint of um, just all of the little things that could happen that could cause problems. Um, I think that's where the concerns would be. So, yeah. Now I don't know which superhero or not superhero, but superpower I would want to have. Um, I mean, I guess there are some fairly passive powers that we could come up with. But even then, you know, who knows what could happen because of that? You now have an advantage over other people because of that power, whatever it is. I know some people would say, well, I want to read minds, and I don't think that would be a good idea. You might not want to know what other people are thinking because that just knowing what some people are thinking just either cause depression because that person's important to you, but then you find out that their thoughts are not what you thought they were, or um, you just go crazy because of the type of thoughts that are in there. I mean, just think of the human mind, not that we're all evil, but even just our basic imagination that we all have. Um, wow, talk about nightmares. uh, you know, our minds, the human minds, wander and create a lot of different things. So I'm not sure that would be good. I know, of course, a lot of people, especially, let's be truth, especially guys, they'd say, well, I want invisibility, or, and of course, they have nefarious purposes for that, which we won't mention, but I don't think that would be the best superpower either, because there's no real practical application for it unless you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, like thievery or, peeping Tom, all the things that we shouldn't do, right? I can't think of anything else invisibility is really going to help with from a standpoint of um, being something that you would want. So, yeah. But so yeah, interesting thoughts there as far as superheroes or superpowers, I should say. There's a lot of powers out there. I can't say that they would all be very useful to us in today's world. Maybe they would be, maybe they wouldn't. Um, but I mean, if I had the choice, I think I would still choose. Oops. I think I would still choose something along the lines of teleportation or something like that, just because so I can travel to places. Um, I guess the other alternative, that I could mention is that a superpower that allows me to travel through space and go visit other stars and planets and explore the galaxy. Um, I'd be okay with that too, because that would be awesome. Um, I know, if you're Superman, supposedly you can just go up in space and you don't have to worry about breathing. And maybe that's or freezing for that matter, or cooking, because space, yes, people think, oh, space is cold, well, yes, but space is also extremely hot. If you are in direct, uh, line of sight of the sun or a star, or various nebulae and other things, uh, it's not cold. It's hot, very hot, and you're gonna cook. So, but I mean, that would be a cool superpower to have, to be able to travel the stars with your superpower. Um, I could see a lot of advantages to that as far as just being able to explore and experience things. Wouldn't help anyone else necessarily. I mean, maybe if you had the flying ability, you could help, you know, well, I guess back up, I said one superpower. So I can't say that I can fly and have super strength. If I fly, I can just fly. If I have the power to go up into space, I still got to get to space if I'm limited to one superpower, right? Um, I may be able to just be out of a spacesuit and be there in space and survive just fine. But that doesn't mean I can fly, because that would be a separate superpower, right? Hmm, complicated. I guess we need more than one superpower, like Superman, right? So that way you can work your powers in tandem with each other, so that you can do more. Potentially, that's the solution. Um, so, anyways, I think we're out of time on today's topic, but hope you've enjoyed the fusions ramblings as we rambled on there all over the place with superpowers and everything that comes around with it. But thank you for joining me today, and have a great day, night, afternoon, morning, whatever it is. And we'll see you later.